Hello and welcome on the Cruz Cast number 4. This is your host Cruise Ship, and this is the podcast where I talk about anything and everything on my mind for the week. There's quite a few things that were pretty important for this week. I wouldn't say important, but things that got talked about that I think are definitely worth talking about. The first thing is the most minor, I would say, not too much of a talking point. But the Justice League killed. No, not the Justice League. It's Suicide Squad killed the Justice League game. I wrote it down wrong in my notes. But they actually showed gameplay for it, and it actually looks really good, and it actually has me pretty excited for it. It's very aerial. All the characters are Deadshot, Harley, King Shark, and Boomerang. So that's good to know. It has a lot of looter shooter mechanics, which, I'm a fan of looter shooters. I enjoy Borderlands 3 a lot. So I could see myself having a lot of fun with the Suicide Squad game. The characters that have the most interest for me currently are probably Harley Quinn, and probably Boomerang, because he's probably going to be the fast-paced DPS guy, and along with Harley. King Shark is more going to be slow, and Deadshot's just long range and probably slower as well from a distance. So even though the game is going to be fast paced, like I like going fast. It's a fast and doing a lot of damage. So I imagine they're all going to have their own, fast paced, high damage output stuff. I mean, we're just going to have to wait for the game to come out. It does look really fun, 4-player co-op. The only thing that I would say is a downfall is a game as a service, as you need an online connection to play even single player, which is kind of like because there's not really many games as a service nowadays. And I believe since this game was in development for quite a while, they made a commitment to that. But now that games as a service has died down, this is kind of a like not as good. Because I believe the only games as a service off the top of my head are Fortnite and Apex, and it's because those games are doing so well still. But it's just those two that especially come off the top of my head, because people still play those to this day. On to the next thing. As both my cats come towards the living room. MK12 being announced, being probably the worst announcement for a game, especially one with such a high caliber one. It was just happened to be in an interview. Like, I don't know if it was even meant to be released. I don't know, but they mentioned the Suicide Squad game and then MK12 coming out this year, which is something very, very like what? Because MK11 has been out for. This year is gonna be, I believe, 5 years now, and so now we haven't had a trailer, we haven't had anything. Ed Boon's been hinting at it on Twitter here and there from time to time, but again, it's announced and it's supposed to be coming out this year, and and it's like super lackluster. I'm a fan of Mortal Kombat, and I just I, I don't know why this happened this way. I imagine there's gonna be a trailer here, probably at Combo Breaker or CEO or one of the two, unless CEO already happened, fighting game tournaments. But it sucks because now everyone's kind of like speculating. Like, it's good to know that it's coming out, but there's no marketing currently for it and no hype around it. So it's just like, what the fuck are we doing? And maybe they show, if it doesn't come out like within the summer, maybe my thing is maybe it comes out in October or November, where a lot of more AAA games get released nowadays for to catch the holiday, catch the sales for the holidays, which bring in a lot of money. So maybe they show something at Evo, which has been announced to be August 4th through the 6th. They announced it on Tuesday of last week, as it today is Monday, February 27th. They have announced the full game list, and the first game that they announced was Street Fighter 6 as the main game. So even though, so they're giving it it'll be 2 months by that point that Street Fighter 6 has been released. So it's a decent amount of time, get people figured out with the game, Obviously not going to know everything by then, but there will definitely be high quality players who understand the game a lot more than obviously your average player. I'm excited to see that game at the highest level at Evo. So that's I'm pretty excited about that one. The other games that got announced as main games were Guilty Gear Strive. Not a surprise. That game's doing very well. It was actually had the most entrants last year at Evo, I believe. And then Tekken 7, because of course Tekken 7 and its long tenure with Evo continuously being ran. I believe this is going to be its last year at Evo, because Tekken 8 will come and then surpass it and finally be a new Tekken at Evo. But again, we have Tekken 7, one more year, which I like watching Tekken here and there, so catching it on the side, it's still going to be fun. They also announced that Dragon Ball FighterZ is going to be one of the main games again. I actually did not expect it to be one of the main games due to the fact that there has been nothing at all whatsoever. No like announcements, no updates. They announced the rollback last Evo, and then that rollback has not even yet been implemented, which is unfortunately quite the game killer when it's so online now, and the online is still bad. So I feel like a lot of people have dropped the game because it's the same game and it can't even function that well online. The next game I believe was Melty Blood. It was a main stage game last year, and it kind of caught me. It's kind of a surprise, but again, not really as well, because I mean it has enough fan base and it did well last year, so it's still pushing strong and getting updates, and it's alive, so push it again. Another game is King of Fighters 15. That one's not, it makes sense. I feel like another kind of heavy hitter. it did. I'm pretty sure it did fairly well last year, as it was one of the Sunday games for last year. So I imagine it'll also do well again this year with a lot of players, and it's definitely did a lot better than 14, and they're updating it as much as they can, trying to make the online experience very well. I know some of my friends are playing King of Fighters 15 as of late, so it'll probably be just a fun watch. I enjoy it. Not my personal taste for fighting games. Maybe if I tried it, I'd like it, but then again, maybe not. The next game is what really surprised me, is that MK11 is going to be there again. With no MK12 in sight, besides the fact that we know it's coming out this year. That's literally all we know. But this was before we even knew that as well. MK11 got announced again, and it's been there the past couple years. They have no support. Like the devs haven't supported it or updated it or anything. It's also the same game, but the players don't even really want to play it that much either. So I was very, very shocked that it was coming back for one more year. So my thing is, maybe after Evo or after the tournament ends for MK11, that MK12 gets a big trailer. Maybe they show something there and announce a fall release date. And then the last game that I was not expecting was Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. It definitely took me by surprise. They kind of prefaced it that it was going to be like a classic game, like as the closeout, and that they're going to start doing more classic games as a main stage to, see people, or show people the roots, or try to show people the roots, I guess, of Evo, then the fighting game community to should like show where it came from where it wasn't as big as it is now, especially at Evo, taking up Mandalay Bay when it wasn't nearly as big as it is now. I love watching Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, so I was actually pretty excited that this got announced. Seeing this game one more time at Evo as one of the main games, I think is going to be extremely hype and very much worth all the watch time it's going to have. Especially because I actually have plans of going this year. I have plans of going to Evo. But before that, actually, for the Evo, also announced that every main stage game that they announced, so all the 8 games that I just announced, has a 25k pot pool for all of them, minimum. That includes Ultimate Marvel 3, includes MK11, includes again all these games, which is actually a pretty big deal due to the fact that these Evo winners get paid fucking a bag of beans for beating everyone. The top level competition worldwide, as thousands of people enter these tournaments, and it's like, oh, you win, here's a bag of beans. Maybe they're, especially out of state travelers, maybe their trip gets paid for and that's all they get. There's no profit. It was just, well, you didn't spend money, but you also didn't make money. But with this minimum 25k pot pool, there's actually profit. There's actually profit to be had. And that reminds me now again that Unfortunately, top it's top 6 that only really gets paid out, not top 8, top 6, as the 7th placers get nothing this year for Evo, even for making it that far. It used to be, top 8 is like the go-to, like, if you made a top 8, you're solidified, like, I made top 8 at Evo, and it is a big deal. Even if, like, every tournament has that, top 8 is like, these are the guys that or go to, these are all the guys that get the medals, blah blah blah. But Evo, due to running extremely late last year on both Saturday and Sunday, they had to cut out the 7th placers and only show top 6. And so now those 7 placers get no medal, no payout, and like no recognition whatsoever, even though most other tournaments now do. It's just that Evo's on a schedule, and you gotta, if they're late, they gotta pay. And so I'm pretty sure that's how it goes, especially when you rent out these venues, especially like Mandalay Bay. I imagine there's over late fees or whatever for not everyone, being on time and stuff. So top 6, that's all the people that get medals and people that get paid out, with a 25k minimum pot pool, where it can get bigger due to the registration fee that can add to the pot. But if there's not enough entrants, it's still going to have a minimum of 25k. I imagine Guilty Gear Strive, Street Fighter 6, and Tekken 7 get enough entrants each that the pot pool actually grows, so it's not just 25k. I don't see any other game, though, not even Dragon Ball FighterZ, getting higher than the minimum. I believe they'll stick with the minimum, and that's just how it's going to be. For what usually happens with Evo 2 and why it ran so damn late is because it's not just a tournament itself, it's a place where these companies and fighting game developers make their announcements for their games, for, new characters, new games that they're developing, DLC additions, and all that stuff. So unplugged my mic like a dummy. But because a lot of these developers need that time, like want to take this time to show people, what's coming in the near future and all this and that, Evo had to just take a look at it and be like, if that part is important for a lot of the spectators, because as much as we're enjoying watching the game and then watching the tournament because we love the games that we're watching, we also want to know what's next, which makes sense. So having a big venue and having to pay for the venue and then being late adds more money. Like, you do want to have the time for these announcements for the games, but you still want to have an exciting, like, big show event tournament. You got to make some cuts somewhere, and it was just those 2 sets for the 7th placers unfortunately just can't make the cut now. Because it is a big event for fighting games as a whole, not just for the tournaments, but for big announcements, seeing new games get revealed, characters. Um, I remember when Tekken 7 announced that Negan was going to be in Tekken 7. It's just stuff like that, and literally last year, even though nothing's come of it yet, rollback got announced for fighters, and it was a good moment. It's a good that they announced it, but the fact that nothing's come of it is the bad part, and still waiting to this day, which is very unfortunate because again, it's been 7 months, and we're coming up closer and closer to the next Evo, and still nothing of it yet. But now, truly, back to the fact that I do plan on going this year. Me and my girlfriend have made plans to go to this one. She knows it's something I'm very interested in, and it's also just about a week before our 4-year anniversary, so we want to make a whole trip out of it just for us and have it be a grand old time. I plan on going. I don't plan on going as a competitor because I feel like they'll take some joy out of it, just due to I don't know. I just feel like it'd be better to go as a spectator, and due to that reason as well, I can show up on Saturday and watch Friday at home before we leave. So, it's gonna be my first time going to Evo, even though I've known about it for years. So it's pretty exciting knowing that we already have the tickets set to go, like plane tickets scheduled, set. I'm really excited to go, and we're both excited to just spend a week in Vegas as well, because it's still gonna have a nice Vegas experience. Room is booked. And we're not staying where Evo is being held in Mandalay, but we'll be close enough to where I don't think it's that much of a big deal that we're not in Mandalay Bay. I'm really excited to just see everything, not just the games, but like everything that's set up, all the mini arcade area that they're gonna have. I want to buy a bunch of like cool stuff that they're probably gonna have there that we can buy. Take money, so we have money to spend for stuff like that. I just see us having a really good time. And then the main games that I want to watch for when we go, because we're showing up on Saturday, so Saturday night we'll get there Saturday morning, so first half of the day I feel like would be kind of for us, but as the games get closer to more like the end of the tournament, especially for the Saturday main games, the main games I don't know if all these are going to be on Sunday or Saturday, so it just really depends. I know Street Fighter 6 is going to be a Sunday game. I know that for a fact. It is just going to be, and that's like the main one that I want to watch. So that's like my go-to. If I can't make any other game to watch, like main stage, top 6, I can only watch one. I'm probably gonna want it to be Street Fighter 6. due to the fact that I can't wait for that game to come out. Um, I've been excited for the game, especially since I played a closed beta. It feels so good. It feels better than 5 just playing it. It feels fluid. I'm excited for it. So seeing it in the huge crowd with everyone going crazy, that's like my number one game. My next game that I would want to watch is Dragon Ball FighterZ. Even though it sucks that there's no rollback yet. Soon, I hope, as we all hope. I do want to watch it because, again, I think that just watching that game is very, very fun to watch. And it has, Dragon Ball characters, one of my favorite series of all time since I was a kid. So, just that game I would definitely like to watch. Maybe MK, I don't know, because personally I'm not like too invested into MK11, but I am invested with some of the players because Mortal Kombat was the first game I really got into, so those are the players I kind of got attached and known to, like the top level players. So it's more about just watching players be the best that they can be. Even I understand the game. I did play it for a bit, and so I know that these guys are like the best. And Marvel 3, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is actually one that I really want to watch. That game, as a spectator game, is so flashy and high pace and crazy. Like, there's so much stuff happening, you don't know what's happening, but it's still fun to watch because so much is happening. I love watching that game, especially at a high level, unless it's Chris G, because he plays the lame game. But besides Chris G, really, I love watching that game. I believe that game will be a Saturday game. I honestly will probably bet money that's a Saturday game, along with Dragon Ball. But I know Street Fighter 6 is going to be on Sunday, so those are like really just the games that I would want to watch the most. Mainly Street Fighter 6 though. And speaking of Street Fighter 6, there was a trailer that came out on Thursday where they showed off finally Gief, Zangief, Lily, and Cammy. Man, that trailer was really good. And I watched it while watching the Maximilian Dude stream, and he made a good point. Is that you can really see the polish with this trailer compared to like all the other stuff we've been seeing. Everything seems done and ready to go, and like all the effects and everything, the stages, the characters themselves, it seems so polished. I really liked how Zangief looks. I think he looks really, really well. I like how he's more like, he is a wrestler, but it's more like WWE wrestling moves that he does, or he just does like he has a spinning pile driver that has speedy. It's simple. He has like it's not entirely a suplex, but I forget what it's called, but he holds you up like a suplex, but he side slams. He has a normal body slam into an elbow drop. I think I really like how he looks. I'm probably gonna hate playing him as I hate playing him currently, but I think that's, you know, most people. I might pick him up though, just to play him myself, because I do like how he looks a lot. The next character that they showed off was Lily, which is the T-Hawk, um, the T-Hawk character. She's like from the same clan as T-Hawk, so she's very reminiscent of T-Hawk with a lot of same moves. I never really cared for T-Hawk, but Lily seems alright. Not the character for me. She has these clubs that looks like she's gonna have long normals and control neutral very well, but she's still gonna have a command grab. From what I saw, a quick little tidbit is when she does her command grab, she does end up going like full screen, so it's like really resetting to neutral. And yeah, she's just like a cutesy girl. And then Cammy, she looks really well. I really like how Cammy looks in this game too. It's completely different. They finally went away from the leotard that she's had since Street Fighter 2 when she was a first playable character. And away from the braids, she has shorter hair. I think she looks really well. Capcom knew what they were doing. They definitely made some thirst trap moments, which you can see if you look at a lot of people's reactions to the trailer. It's pretty funny. Well, again, I was watching it with Maximilian, dude, and he was like, "What the fuck?" But besides that, I think as a whole, her character design looks good. I like I like the flag on the back of her jacket, and she seems brutal, and I like that. Like her level 3, where it looks like if she had a blade on her leg, she would decapitate you. So I was really impressed with the way both Geef and Cammy look. I couldn't really care much about Lily. I do think she does look pretty good though. So, but after that trailer, it was like the conclusion of the launch roster for Street Fighter 6, all set to go for June 2nd. So it has an 18 character launch roster, which most of them I'm super excited about, just to see fully in motion with, people playing them at pretty high levels. Gonna be playing Ken, cause no Akuma, probably see him in the future. And Manon, this French ballerina judoka, so she looks really fun. There was a gameplay match between her and Marissa, the big brawler chick. I forget where she's from, but she looks really fun to play. I'm really excited for the game, because that's just like from the fighting game aspect, not the single player like story mode that they have with a bunch, and they also have the mini game stuff. And I'm so excited. My pre-order for the highest version is placed, and I'm ready to go for when it comes out. I don't gotta worry about it. I'm getting all the colors. I'm gonna get the first DLC for when they come out. Getting stages, and the fact that they're gonna add more stages again, is cool. I did like the Street Fighter 5 like Capcom Pro Tour stages. Those stages are very unique. I like how it's always a crowd watching. I'd like those stages a lot. So if it's going to be similar to something like that, I'm very I'll be very happy to get those stages again. So now it's just playing the waiting game of waiting till June 2nd. For me, it's more of a June 1st due to the pre-order. It's probably a purchase I will not regret, as it's one of those games again where I feel like they're putting a lot of love into it. And I can feel the love when watching the trailers and when I played the beta. And looking at all the roster and seeing that at some point that I'm gonna play a lot of these characters. I keep going back to the website and looking at these characters, and I'm looking at, man, I want to have them already. I want to be able to play these characters. I want to play them on these pretty stages. I want to have my own created character that's gonna have their moves, some of these characters' moves. I think that's gonna be a super cool thing too, because there's actually going to be a what seems to be a fleshed out story mode, which is definitely something that makes the game more worth its money, where especially compared to Street Fighter V's launch, where it had no real story mode, just an arcade game, arcade kind of style. It didn't actually have, I believe it never really have a traditional style arcade, just, work your way up. It had this survival mode, which wasn't as good, and had these small little story segment things where the art style I wasn't really a fan of. So it was really just play online and train. And that was really it. And so the launch of Street Fighter V, for $60, I didn't get it at launch, but I was around that time and I saw a bunch of stuff, and it just didn't sit right. But this game, it seems like a lot of people are actually very much excited for. I can see myself putting a lot of time into this game, because it's not just gonna be the fighting, going online and find someone and be better than them. It's gonna have fun, silly modes of not take it as serious. It's gonna have its own story mode where you just play by yourself and actually have a good time that way too. So again, well, let's just say I'm in the Street Fighter 6 waiting room. Very excited. I want the game to come out already. Hopefully there's an open beta that comes out before it's launched, so we can get a little tease before the full thing. But that's about it. Again, not too much happening lately. Not much going on. So with that, thank you for listening and being on the Cruz Cast. I'll catch you guys later.